So, very, very warm welcome and good evening to our wonderful Christmas event. Good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, because you may be coming from different parts of the world. But wherever you're coming from, this is a Christmassy occasion, a Christmassy event, and a very Christmassy time of year. So, this is the third evening of the Christmas spirituality event, where we are looking at the deeper significance behind many of the Christmas symbols. And whether people are of a particular faith or even of no faith, this is a very meaningful time for people all around the world. It's a time where people have a chance to reflect and contemplate and sometimes commiserate. It can be a sad time for people, but it's a very deep time for people. So I think it's a beautiful occasion to look at the deeper significance of these symbols that we have over Christmas. So the first night we looked at the star. Is it the star of the self? You know, the star that's above the Christmas tree. The star of the self. Is it the star of the divine? But there's always this symbol of a silent point of light present at Christmas. And we had some beautiful thoughts and feelings from all the participants about what that might mean. And then the second night was about the angel. So what is this memory of the compassionate human that just appears at a time of need and then serves and disappears without a trace? And they're very connected to the divine, to God. So what does that mean? What are their wings? Is it compassion? Is it understanding? Is it wisdom? Like what is it? What are they? And again, very beautiful thoughts from people. So tonight we are flying to Italy, and this is a very special one also. We are looking at the three wise ones, and it is Antonella from Italy, and she will be talking about that, which is interesting because it's very significant, particularly for Italy, which is the heart of Roman Catholicism. So they're very significant. And so I would like to introduce Antonella. Antonella from Italy, and she'll tell a beautiful story about the three wise ones and the gifts that they bring. And just think about what these, as she's speaking about what these symbols mean to you. And then we'll come back afterwards and have an exchange about it. So enjoy Antonella, and see you after. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti to everyone. My name is Antonella from Italy, Bologna, a city, middle-aged city in the middle of the country. There are few special days during the year that people remember by heart. Of course, one is Christmas, at least in this part of the world, and the other is the Three Kings Day, or Epiphany, the 6th of January. Mentioned only by Matthew's Gospel, they were called the Magi, or kings arrived from distant kingdoms, or maybe expert astrologers who had followed a comet. No one really knows who they were or where they exactly came from. And their number is also a mystery, 3 or 12, who knows? But what we are going to explore today is the symbols of their gifts. They brought 3 gifts, and that's why they're probably considered 3 Magi's. The gifts were gold, frankincense, and myrrh. At that time, those 3 gifts had a great value, especially in religious practices and religious purposes. temples at that time were full of gold, and gold represents the symbol of wealth, but also we say a golden heart. When I give my heart and I share from the heart, then wealth and abundance are bound to come back. And the incense, the frankincense, symbolizes the fragrance of the qualities that the soul rediscovers within itself after a journey of introversion. The fragrance of peace, simplicity, love, also needed today more than ever. And the third gift was the myrrh, a resin, an ointment for burial ceremonies, used for religious purposes, represent letting go of what is old, letting go of the past, and be ready for something new. And there is a little story. In a class after the Christmas holidays, the teacher gave a theme to the students, and the topic was the three magi and the symbols of their gifts. After a week, the topic were delivered, and there were all incredible, meaningful answers and interpretation. The professor, after having congratulated the students for the wonderful ideas, he looked at one student specifically because he handed over the notebook with nothing written on it. He wrote nothing. So the professor asked him why. And the boy simply replied that, in his opinion, none of the three gifts were important. He said, "Professor, in my opinion, the greatest gift that the three magi gave to Jesus was their presence." So, do you think God will be more pleased with any gift you offer to Him, or with your presence? And I think this is the best feeling that we can share in those holidays and for the new year. So all have a great Christmas and wonderful holidays, and lots of greetings from this side of the world, from Italy. Om Shanti.
Grazie mille, Antonella. Yes, I was with her in Italy. She's great. So, what are your thoughts about these gifts? I mean, I love the gold symbolizing the wealth of the self. And then the frankincense, the incense, like the fragrance we emit from our good actions, our virtues. And then myrrh, I hadn't thought of that before, actually being used in burial rites and as a way to let go of the past. I mean, yeah, each of those are very powerful. So what are your thoughts? Would anybody like to share? Or you may have your own thoughts about what the three wise kings or the three wise ones, what they mean to you. And you can, I think, raise your hands and I can unmute you because we want to hear you. If you put in the chat, not everyone will see.
Hi everyone, I'm Shanti. I think just to get it rolling, I didn't really know that myrrh was an embalming ointment, and I find it fascinating that they would give that gift at the point of birth. But in the cyclical way of things, and, as any like artistic process, as soon as you give birth to something, you're letting go of something old, or kind of a different idea or a different version of that idea. Or I think even the destruction of something is the creation of something new. Like you can smash a piece of pottery and have shards to create with, so I think it's really beautiful if we take it very much in the context of a cycle of time. And when we look at what might be, in inverted commas, being destroyed around us, it is very much the process of creation, and it's not one to be feared. So maybe myrrh is actually, at the time of birth, is a gift of fearlessness to live with from that point on.
Yes, it's true. Things we perceive of as endings are so often beginnings. And what you say about the pottery, I love that. The Japanese do that. I can't remember the name, but the broken pottery they fill with gold and it becomes something new again. Beautiful, Hannah. Thank you.
It's the seams. They piece things back together with gold. Yeah. Kintsugi, I think it's called.
Yes. Yeah. Beautiful. Anybody else like to share?
Hi, Mansi here.
Mansi.
And I love the point where actually she shared that after the story, the moral, that the best gift is your presence, actually.
Yeah.
And not something physical, but your presence. And the question that she raised, what would God like more? Is it your presence or you taking something to Him? That really seems a deep point to me.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I like that too. I wonder if anytime we're completely present with the self, with others, also with the divine, if then all the gifts naturally arrive, the symbolic gifts of frankincense, gold and myrrh, they arrive automatically because of our presence. I think that's like I agree, Mansi, that story was beautiful. That's like the doorway, the portal to all gifts. So yeah, very beautiful. Yes. Would anybody else like to share? I like these sharings. I'm looking along to see.
Shanti, it's Sister Barbara.
Hello, Barbara.
I just wanted to say that the presence, of course, works both ways, because the greatest gift of all, Christmas or any other time for us, is His presence in our lives. It's Baba's presence. And that is the greatest gift of all. And that comes when necessarily we're not expecting it or even looking for it. And sometimes it just comes, and then we learn things that change our lives. So that to me is a Christmas miracle, no matter what time of year it is. Thank you.
I mean, I'm just thinking what that might mean for those who don't necessarily have a faith in a supreme soul or belief in God necessarily. Does anyone have an idea about what that presence could mean in the absence of a particular belief about God? Because Christmas can be very meaningful for people even without that faith, that particular faith.
Maybe it could be, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Maybe it could be just the presence of fellow feeling, goodwill, because Christmas comes is a time when people give gifts and try to make each other happy. They try and be merry, as they say.
Yes.
And that is a gift as well. That's a gift from humanity to humanity.
Yeah.
I mean, many places don't celebrate Christmas, I know, but the ones that do, I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
A very big part.
Yes. Yeah, very nice. Well, look, it's just beautiful to be with you all, and I love this occasion. And I'll be here again tomorrow night. And just enjoy this time of reflection and coming together with loved ones. And I look forward very much to seeing you tomorrow night. So good night and Om Shanti.
Thank you, Tamsin. Om Shanti, everyone.